Support for The Gaming Outsider is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code THEGOCAST at manscaped.com. What's happening, Gaming Outsiders? On episode 373, Zack and Alyssa join me to talk about games that are nearly perfect. You know, ones that we love but have that one aspect that just drives us crazy. In news, Kojima announced his company is getting into the film, TV, and music industry, and also Activision Blizzard is in a lot of hot water, especially Bobby Kotick. Zack also played quite a bit of the Halo Infinite multiplayer and likes it a lot more than I was expecting. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 373 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, November 22nd. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends, back from the dead, Mr. Zack Parkerson. How you doing, man?
Yes, I live once again.
Yes.
You can't keep a good vampire down or something.
I know it sucks to have a cold or whatever, bronchitis or whatever you had, but it has done a number on your voice, and you are ready for podcasting, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, you say I got a nice low dulcet tones.
Yeah, dude.
So, listeners are going to love it.
Say apologies to listeners if I sound different. If you hear any light coughing in the background, I'll try to mitigate it as much as possible, but you have been warned.
I think you should go into some lounge singing now. Just.
This is my moment to strike.
Exactly.
Like a jazz lounge announcer.
Well, you do it as Duke Nukem singing as a jazz lounger. A jazz lounge singer.
That thing rips apart my throat when I don't have bronchitis.
I know, but you can get away with it now and just pay the price. Do it for us, man.
Yeah, I'll do it for you, Scott.
I appreciate it.
Do it for me.
Also joining us, Alyssa White. How you doing, Alyssa?
I am okay, besides my allergies saying they hate me right now, so I am also a little under the weather.
All right. Winter is upon us. Oh, boy.
But my voice doesn't sound like Zach's. Like, it's not, alluring and pleasant to listen to. Mine's just...
Hey there, this is Alyssa White. You might have heard of my cousin Barry.
Right. I was going to say, that's a easy line to draw there.
Yeah. Hey, guys, guess what?
What?
Are you ready for the Wii is 15 years old this week. The Nintendo
luckily,
Wii.
The Xbox turned 20 last week, so I guess I'm ready for it.
Yeah, we got the shock absorber systems.
I was this close to buying one of those Xbox 20-year Xbox controllers. The special edition ones. It was because they've been really hard to get a hold of, and I got a tweet from Wario64 that said, "Hey, here's a place they're available," and I had my finger over the button, and I was like, I don't need this. I've got, Go
I
ahead.
really wanted that Halo Series X. Was looking slick, man.
Dude,
yeah.
Though, good luck.
Well,
good luck.
Not even gonna try.
I've been trying to get one of those for a listener friend of ours. He actually offered me a bounty to find him one.
Bounty?
I wasn't gonna accept it. I was gonna try to help him out. Dude, I'm not joking. When they went up on, I had one in my cart on Amazon, and before I could click over and click buy, it was removed from my cart. I just don't understand how it could be in my cart and then not be in my cart. But I thought I was gonna hook him up, and he was pretty upset. But they're gone in literally 5 or 6 seconds. It's just ridiculous. And scalpers. Yeah.
It's out of control.
I kind of wanted one of those fridges, the Xbox fridges.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted one too.
Those are so cool looking, and I don't even have a dorm or anything like that. I just want to put it in my classroom.
Well, they're a nice size, and they were only $100, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could have sold 1 million of those things.
Seriously, just on the cool factor alone. But no, we got to limit everything and put money in the pockets of crappy people. But anyway, back to the original topic. I know that Xbox did turn 20, but the Wii does not seem like 15 years ago. In my mind, I remember sitting. You're going to think I'm such a nerd, Zach. I literally sat on the floor in the mall in front of a GameStop for 5 hours to be the first one to pre-order a Wii. First one in line.
Just to pre-order, not to buy?
Correct. Just to pre-order. Because I was
pretty lame.
Wanted to make sure. Sat there and looked at and watched mall walkers for about 5 hours. People come up to me asking me what I was doing. And then,
They're like, is he homeless?
And then they realized what I was doing and got in line with me. So.
Oh, nice. So you were a
that's
trendsetter.
cool.
Yeah. So that was a fun day. My wife thought I was a real idiot at that point. But at least it was inside. It wasn't like standing outside at Best Buy for an Xbox 360 or a PS3.
And then you use your Wii 4 times, and then...
Oh, no, dude, I use a Wii a lot. My wife was this close to starting a Wii bowling tournament at our house, like having people over like once a week and keeping track of scores. I
didn't think about Wii Sports because I didn't care about it.
Oh, really?
But I know that was
Wii Sports.
I know it was a phenomenon.
I have a story I can tell you about Wii Sports off air later. It's a great story. But no, I played a lot of stuff on Wii. I played, the Mario Galaxy games. Mario Galaxy 2 is on Wii. We don't have that one anywhere else but the Wii.
Yeah.
You did not like the Nintendo Wii, apparently.
I'm thinking back, and I'm sure I like No More Heroes, but I didn't like that really until I played it on Switch, I guess. So.
Remember the promise of, was it Red Steel?
did. You know what? I did like Red Steel 2.
Did you? Okay, I didn't play the second one.
Because the first one was like a weird mob game, but then the second one was a retroist, futuristic sci-fi western.
Oh, that
is a
cool.
huge genre shift.
Yeah, very huge. And it had the one-to-one sword controls. Red Steel 2 is awesome.
And that was back because they had the little attachment for the Wii that made it 1-to-1, right?
Yeah, the Motion Plus.
Because that wasn't there originally. But I just remember my mind being blown the first time I pointed a Wii remote at the TV and the little cursor popped up. I was like, the future is now. This is that because we didn't see that. That wasn't a thing back then at all. I just thought it was really cool.
It was cool in Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to go back and
replay
Twilight Princess. And you're right. No, it was not cool. You got to bite that bullet, not me. But anyway, let's talk about some of the games we've been catching up on. Zach, what has been in your tray this week?
Well, as I had to take a week off, quite a bit of a stack, but I'll fly through them. First of all, I am very excited at the backwards compatibility list. 76 games. I immediately went on eBay to try to buy 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, only to learn that it is going for over $100 now per copy.
Oh my god, that's so ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was listening to the episode you guys did last week. You're like, oh, sure, just buy 50 cents, like $5 on eBay. I was like, oh, then I'm snagging it up. That's not the case anymore.
Oh no, we misled you.
It was $5 on eBay at one point.
I bet it was, man, because there was a time where you could buy the original Nier for like $2.99, and then Automata came out, and all of a sudden it was a $45 used game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite comical.
And you can't buy it digitally, right?
No, like 50 cent you can't. I assume that must have something to do with the song licensing, and there's a way to get around it by only letting it be the disc version.
Right.
But yeah, I guess I'm SOL on playing that.
Well, I'm sure that CB has a copy, so when you inevitably move back to Rockford, we'll just play a couch co-op.
When I inevitably live in your basement.
Or, like if you, come back for the holidays or something, we'll just make a weekend of it while you're here.
No, it's co-op, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll play with all the X enhancements.
That actually sounds. And we could stream it. People could actually watch us play a game together. We can just cuddle up on the couch back here. I'll have a throw blanket for you.
Oh, we could.
What
if we were to share a throw blanket?
Well, they're pretty small. I mean, we could if you really wanted to.
Well, that's what I had in my mind when you said cuddle on the couch. Like,
I mean, you could sit on my lap, and then we could.
Wouldn't that be cute? You're playing as Tony Yayo behind me.
Dude, I think it's all about it. We'll stay up late and eating ice cream and drinking Mountain Dew and pixie sticks.
Pizza? I don't know. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
I want to be part of this party now.
Come on up.
I gotta figure a way how to get there.
Well, we are gonna do it in March, right? Is that the plan?
Right, spring break?
Spring break.
We're gonna be a bunch of old men trying to pretend that we're still college kids?
Yeah, let's do it. Right. I am 100% down. I think we should just start planning it now.
All right, Alyssa, you're invited.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, let's do it.
Good stuff. Although I did buy Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe now.
Oh, okay.
eBay. That was like $5.
Nice.
But anyway, I did play the original Nier because Papa Nier is now playable on modern consoles because of Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Praise be to the Lords. It was so great hearing his voice, and it's really bizarre. It's like one of 11 360 games I got at an FPS boost with the announcement, which is just like a random game to do that.
I don't know if it's really random anymore after the recent releases.
I guess so, but you would think that you would be like, fine, you guys can play it, but it's going to be crappy, so that way you buy our remaster.
Oh, I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was great hearing his voice, but I forgot how little of that game was actually voiced since the original release. There is not a great deal of spoken dialogue.
So just a lot of text that you have to read?
Because in the remaster, all of the text you read is voiced.
So I went back and re-recorded it, right?
Yeah, and I just forgot how much reading there was. Also, the combat is trash, so it's hard to go back to that game now with the remaster being better in every way. But it was so great seeing Papa Nier.
So is the original your favorite game of all time, or is the remaster of the original game your favorite game of all time?
Well, yeah, both. Can we have both?
It's tied.
They both have different things. But speaking of some of my favorite games of all time, Max Payne 2, I also played, and that game is running buttery smooth on Xbox.
Oh, really?
I only have the Xbox One, but yeah, it looks... The original Xbox games, I feel like, benefit the most from this back compat. They just look so much better.
So do you think that'd make a good Break the Seal episode? Because I've never played the Max Payne games.
Yeah, I haven't either, besides 3.
You guys have both only played 3, huh?
Yep.
What the hell?
Yeah, I wish everyone could see the look on your face right now. Because you're just like...
I mean, it makes sense because that came out when Rockstar made it, right? And they were on top of the world, so everybody was playing every Rockstar game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so different than 1 and 2. And I like it. I like 3. It's just very different.
Do you think it would hold up for someone that's never played it before? Like, is it gonna...
I don't know about the first game.
Because those games, original Xbox games, some were fun, but they don't age as well.
Yeah, and I probably do have that nostalgic bias, but I think Max Payne 2 is still one of the best shooters ever.
Oh.
I mean, it just plays well with the slow motion and the bullet dodging and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think it would. I would just jump to 2 if I were you, though.
Just skip 1 altogether?
Yeah, or like watch a story synopsis or something.
Let's do it. Let's do it next month.
Okay.
How about for December? Let's do it.
A little Break the Seal?
Yeah.
Happily.
I'll do it too.
Because you can buy that one digitally, right?
Yeah, I think it's only $10.
Okay, let's do it, Alyssa.
Okay.
3 of us.
Okay, look at that.
I'll be on a Patreon episode. Well, already been on one, but another one.
Be a little bonus show. And then, so I also play Sonic Colors Ultimate on Nintendo Switch, and this is I don't have a lot to say other than Sonic Colors is a great game, and Sonic Colors Ultimate on Switch is one of the worst things I've ever played.
Wow.
It has to be the worst port I've ever seen.
It's as bad as people are saying, huh?
It shocked me. This is after I think there is a patch even.
Really?
And it's still it gave me a headache. It made me slightly nauseous playing it.
Oh no.
It's so glitchy and the frame rate's all over the place and characters are like popping in and out of places. It's a complete joke.
Wow. And they marketed the crap out of that for a while there.
Yeah, I don't know how it is on other platforms. I hear it's better. I hear the Switch version's what got, the most of the damage, but my lord, was that rough.
Man, that's unfortunate. That almost makes me not want to even bother playing it on like Xbox or something.
Yeah, well, hey, play it on your precious Wii, Scott. It was great there.
Yeah. I did not call it my precious Wii. I just have good memories of that console, man.
I call it your precious Wii. But
there is a lady present.
She's laughing.
The lady has heard a lot of stuff in her life.
But just even like the UI is like fuzzy, whether it's on the screen or in handheld mode too. Like it's just, I don't know. It looks like you're looking through everything underwater. It's very bizarre. I cannot recommend this game to anybody.
Wow, that is a scathing review.
I'm sure Kevin Honigford, writer, one of our writers, he's a Sonic diehard. So I'm sure you could ask him for more exacting details. But dude, this is bad.
I kind of want to see it just to see how bad it is.
Well, if you want to play a remaster just to see how bad it is, it's a lot more fun if you play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Definitive Edition.
Oh, really?
Because that is also quite terrible.
So what is so bad? Because I keep seeing all the horror stories, but I haven't seen any videos. I've not played the original game, so I can't compare. So
this, unlike Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is unplayable, is a lot more of just like, it's... If I paid money, I would be livid, but because it's on Game Pass, I'm not so much.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's just weird stuff where like your side character, so the game starts with like a bicycling mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
but all of your characters have like long, swindly spaghetti arms to make it reach to the handlebars, which is just not how it was on PS2. So it's like a new problem.
How does that happen?
I have no idea.
Noodle arms.
It's freaky. And so, I mean, we knew from the trailers everybody just kind of looks like an action figure now, which is fine, but like, I think it's because of the higher fidelity. Everyone's just got dead eyes in every cutscene, which is kind of a little bit jarring. It just kind of takes a little bit of the drama out.
Right.
But you're just driving around and things just kind of pop up, which is, again, strange because this is a PS2 game running on an Xbox.
Like, would you rather have they just ported the game over originally as it was?
So I'm so glad you brought this up, Scott, because I actually own the PS2 ports to PS4. And I booted up San Andreas, and it's like this clean version of it. You know, I mean, the combat targeting is the terrible PS2 version it was, because they actually did upgrade the targeting for these remakes, which is nice. But like, also, I'm sure you guys have seen all the GIFs and everything of the rain effects. And how it's just like overlaid on the screen.
Like, you can't see through it.
You cannot see what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I think the video I saw was somebody that was doing a like timed mission where you have to go navigate through certain sections of a city like in a certain amount of time, and you could not see the path that you were supposed to go.
No, and it has this weird thing where it clips behind any like bridges in the distance though. So like it's just affecting and destroying your view. I don't know, man. It's bewildering.
Can you turn any of that stuff off, or
no, because you know, like it's supposed to be random, right? Time of day effects and all that stuff. But yeah, if it's raining, you kind of just have to do that Breath of the Wild thing where you just wait.
No, I didn't mean like turn off the rain. I meant like turn off the HD version of it. You know how some games allow you to flip back and forth to the original.
No, I think that this is a different engine than it originally was, so I guess maybe they just didn't double check themselves. And I also know it's based on the mobile phone versions of it, not the actual console version, because it's the same studio that did the mobile phone versions.
Oh, okay.
Which were actually decent, especially comparably, but man, it's don't buy these until they're patched. But what's going on with these remakes, these re-releases here?
We've had a string of them, I feel like, between this and Sonic and something else we talked about recently that was like, what happened?
Yeah, it should be embarrassing.
CB said the Crisis ones were good.
Well, that's good. Which also makes sense because they just rounded up a bunch of things they had done before for the trilogy release, right?
Right.
Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on over there at Rockstar. You would think, because they're like the prestige company, you know, they put out one game every 7 years.
Right.
You know, it's meticulously handcrafted in every way. Like, I'm surprised they weren't double checking the port house for this thing.
Probably just trying to get cash in. I don't know. Or maybe something happened that we're just not seeing. But I heard that they were giving people that purchased it on PC like free copies of the original. Which, come on, if you're buying the remaster, more than likely you played the well, you might have played it on PS2, I guess. But
yeah, but you're right. More than likely, if you're diehard enough to get in on the definitive editions day one, you probably already own the ports,
right?
Because, you know, especially because they were probably on sale at some point for $1.99, you know? Yeah, it's pretty inexcusable.
Crazy.
And you can, and the crappy part is you can't buy those PS2 ports on PS4 anymore. They took them down.
Because of these definitive editions coming out, probably.
That way you only buy the definitive edition, yeah.
Huh.
I'm so glad I have them.
Can you play the disc versions on a PS4? I honestly don't even know that question.
No, you can't.
No.
Of course.
It's Sony we're talking about.
I can never remember how far back the backwards compatibility goes and where it goes.
Well, the PS2 games on PS4 are specific ones where they like reintegrated trophies and stuff into them.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Bunch of nonsense. But anyway, I finally played Kenna.
Oh, nice. We've been excited to hear your reaction to this.
I should say Kana or Kenna because different characters say it different ways for some reason.
Don't you love it when a game does that? What was the one we were talking about recently where they pronounced it differently? It was a game a couple weeks ago. We were talking about you... Because you made a joke about like no it was when you were talking about Kashyyyk in Star Wars.
Yeah,
you say Kashyyyk.
Yeah. I said Kashyyyk, yeah, because in KOTOR they often say Kashyyyk.
Yes, I went back and listened to that episode for some reason recently, And I had never heard anybody ever pronounce it Kashyyyk before.
I hadn't either.
A lot of the NPCs in Coach Wars say it, and I like to say it because it immediately makes a Star Wars fan's eye twitch.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's Kashyyyk.
Yeah. Like, you mean Kashyyyk? Even though there's 3 Ys, no world would it be pronounced Kashyyyk.
I'm not sure how it's pronounced Kashyyyk either.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there are listeners.
Aren't there
right now
like 3 Ys in it?
Yeah, there's 3 Ys.
Like 3.
It's a consecutive Ys.
Everything, like there's War Sure Trees where it's 3 Ys. Everything's got 3 Ys in Kashyyyk. I apologize.
Did not know that. Anyway, Kena.
Bridge of Spirits. I think, Alyssa, you talked about this a few weeks ago, right?
I haven't played all of it. It got pushed aside for review games.
That's perfectly acceptable. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't.
Yeah.
It has been talked about on the show. It is what people are saying, very PS2 kind of game. It is not as Dinosaur Planet as I thought it was, which is a little distressing. Star Fox Adventure Dinosaur Planet, obvious high point of the Nintendo GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was just surprised there are no like villages or anything. It's just like this desolate kind of landscape where you're all alone with spirits, as it were. So I was just a little surprised.
That sounds like something you would like, though.
It's okay so far. I'm trying to find my footing with it. It's got a lot of puzzles, but I feel like most of the puzzles are just look at thing, and then you send your little rock companions there, and then you just tap L1. God damn, do you tap L1 a lot in this game?
You do, actually.
Holy crap. It was like, it's noticeable, because you have to tap it to activate anything with the, like, spiritually in the world, but that's, like, how you collect your rot, that's how you explode these little, like, pedal things, it's how you find collectibles. You're tapping L1 a lot. And I know that just sounds like a weird nitpick, but it's just like, when I'm pressing L1 200 times per hour, that is a lot of pressing one button.
Man, those video game developers making you press buttons? What's wrong with them?
When you play it, Scott, you'll know what I mean.
I don't know why, that made me think of Heavy Rain when you said that. Making you press buttons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, where you had to like claw hand the controller to hold it like all these weird ways?
By the way,
like, crush every single button on the controller right now. Ah!
By the way, do you remember when Heavy Rain came out? Or at least I thought that just looked like stunning. Like the character models looked so realistic. And I saw a screenshot of it recently and I was like, wow.
It doesn't hold up.
That does not look as good as I remember it looking. At all.
It's aged poorly.
Yeah.
And the whole Jason thing. Well, it was annoying when you played it, but when you hear it back, it's like, oh god, this is even worse.
Yeah, and then we all thought the story was so strong, but narratives have come so far in those 10 years.
Yep.
That like, yeah, you get through a death trap where you had to cut off your own finger, but then you bang the journalist who came over to your hotel room. You're like, what?
That's true.
It's very poor writing. Anyway, back to Kena. It's a lot of fun exploring the world. It is gorgeous. The cutscenes are especially gorgeous, which makes sense because this was an animation assist studio. And this is their first game, and it is a nice little throwback adventure, but I haven't really found my groove with it yet, which is a little disappointing 4 or 5 hours in. I do think the bosses pretty much universally suck. It's a bunch of, every boss fight does the mob, where they throw a bunch of mob enemies at you.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, yeah.
Which I don't like generally, let alone for every boss. So that's been disappointing. And the story is unclear so far, but that's okay. The more jarring aspect of the story for me is that I think the voice acting is poor. But it is perfectly playable. It just does not quite meet my expectations. But it is fun to explore and try to solve the puzzles. And the little rock guys, your little companions, are cute. You can buy them hats.
Yeah, I love buying the hats for them.
Yeah, I got a bunch of mushrooms growing on top of their heads and stuff. It's pretty fun. It's a very charming game. It's just I don't know. It's not quite what I thought. I assumed it was going to be puzzle heavy. I just didn't know that the puzzle was going to be kind of the same thing over and over.
Yeah, that would be disappointing.
Yeah,
that's surprising. I really thought that was going to be. I thought you were going to just love that game after seeing that trailer.
I mean, you and me both, man. I mean, for a year or whatever, year and change, I was very excited for this game, but maybe it's one of those games where I'll find the groove later. I don't know.
Right. Hopefully that's the case. Hey, Alyssa, did you pick up Hex Tech this week?
I have not yet because I'm broke.
Okay. I picked it up this week, and what a value that game is for $10. I know it's...
Would you say that it's a circus of value?
Welcome to the circus of value. No. Man, now you make me want to play BioShock again. This game, I know Grant explained it pretty well last week, but Zach, you've got to check this thing out. I know you like rhythm games, don't you?
I do historically weirdly like rhythm games.
This is it's one of the most unique ways to do a rhythm game, and I know we're kind of repeating ourselves last week, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. So you know how most rhythm games have like a difficulty setting, where like you set it to normal, and then you can bump it up to hard and expert, or you can even drop it down to easy if you want to. There's no setting for this game, and the difficulty is, as Grant explained it, and I'm experiencing this. I didn't really understand it or wrap my head around it when he talked about it last week. It's built right into the level. So there are prompts, if you watch the video, where like you need to either jump, or you need to ground pound, or you need to throw a bomb. That's your only 3 buttons. It's one of 3 buttons, and there are prompts on the screen that tell you when to do each of those 3 things. But what the game doesn't outright tell you is that there are other things that you can do in addition to it, that you can do by looking at the environment to tell you what to do to make it harder. So easy mode is just following the basic prompts. Those three buttons that I told you. But there are other ways to press the button again where you're not actually lining up a prompt Guitar Hero style. You're just doing it straight beat with the music to do other things. It's nuts, man. Like there's red balloons. Like you have to hit the red balloon by jumping up in the air, but you also have to ground pound at the spot before it. So you basically are doing it on the half beat of the note. So you're basically filling in all the extra beats of the note to do multiple things and throwing bombs at things in beat with the music. It's fantastic. It's really crazy how in-depth this thing is. Like if you want to get the 100% for a level, you really got to be on your A game. There's $10 seemed like a cheap price for it anyway, but considering you can go back and replay this at quote harder difficulties is fantastic. It's seriously worth checking out.
Well, and it's especially cool. Grant Henry or Stemage, he did all the sound work, right? So the bomb sound effects are lining up. His bomb sound effects are lining up with his musical tracks.
Correct.
That's pretty wild.
And the music is all like on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music. You can just go listen to it.
Man, sounds a little like it's Grant's game. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah, right. It's the real deal, and I don't know how to describe this, but like listening to it, it sounds like Grant music. I don't know how much you listen to Stemage or Metroid Metal, but he's got a particular tone and cadence to his guitar beats that just sound very Grant Henry, and it's evident in this game. And like he said, they don't reuse any of the songs, so every level is a brand new song.
I meant to download it after listening to the episode.
It's worth a download.
I think it's genius what League of Legends is doing right now by expanding the brand with these spin-off games and that Arcane show that everyone's going crazy for.
Yeah, I'm this close to watching that. It's been recommended to me by like 3 or 4 different people now at this point.
I've heard it's like shockingly R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just got renewed for a 2nd season. So
just came out like what, a week or 2 ago?
3 weeks ago?
3 weeks, I believe.
But yeah, it seems to have taken over the nerd cultures.
Yeah. I will check it. I know nothing about League of Legends.
Nor do I. But
neither do I.
But Arcane, from my understanding, was designed with that in mind.
But it's interesting to me that they drop these things right near each other, because you said it's a heavy R rating. This Hextech Mayhem game is clearly jovial and, slapsticky comedy type stuff.
Well, it sounds like they're playing to the strengths of their champions.
Right. And they're kind of doing backstories on each of these.
Yeah, they're a little Marvelification of their brand.
Oh, by the way, fun fact: the main character that you play as in this game is voiced, not making this up, by the guy that did the voice of Kid Icarus on the Captain N cartoons.
Oh,
he was also on Battlestar Galactica, the remake.
Does he do like animal noises? Like what? Does this character talk? Hextech?
Oh yeah, they're voice acted.
I thought based on his demeanor, he was like going to be one of those kind of characters that talks in Banjo-Kazooie noises.
No, it's very much like cartoon style, like earlier Ratchet and Clank.
Okay, very cool.
You know what I mean? So it's
dude, I'm playing Hextech for real.
I really can't wait to see what you think of that. So
send me a text reminding me tomorrow.
I will do that. I will do that for sure. Well, we've that was one hell of an intro. Let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. All right, first some new trailers. We got a trailer for Windjammers 2, which I don't believe is a new game, but it's coming to Game Pass, which is amazing because that needs to be a community game night game right there. That needs to happen. Also, we got a trailer for Bramble the Mountain King on PC and consoles coming in 2022. Boy, Activision Blizzard is in a lot of hot water right now. The employees and shareholders are calling for Bobby Kotick's resignation. Lots to talk about there. A new game, believe it or not, is being released digitally on the Wii U. Yes, probably the last digital game to be developed for the Wii U is coming soon to the Wii U. And Kojima Productions announced today that it is expanding into the film, television, and music market. So lots of interesting things happening this week. Zach, you've been out the longest. Which story would you like to talk about?
I guess the fun, uplifting Activision news might be the most appropriate.
Okay.
Bobby Kotick seems to be in some hot water, man.
Yep,
and it just keeps getting darker and darker as the week goes by, too.
Well, yeah. So the implication is that he ignored knowing about the sexual misconduct going on in his company.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was an incident in 2006 where he threatened a woman's life, but then settled it, which is pretty wild.
Kind of paid somebody off and swept under the rug.
Yeah, but it was funny because in their defense of Kotick, they're like, the zero tolerance policy can't apply to things that happened in the past, and he's doing so much to change the culture, and we regret his something about his temperament of his earlier days or something like that, just brushing this death threat under the rug, which is hilarious.
The disgust in your voice right now is very apparent.
I mean, that's just corporate. That's the corporate world, man.
Mm-hmm.
You just get to do whatever you want. But I do think it's a little misleading that shareholders are calling for his resignation, because it's only 0.6% of the shareholders.
Right.
Although admittedly 25% of the shareholders is Bobby Kotick.
Right.
So that's a pretty big swath. Though most excitingly for me is Phil Spencer kind of called them on the carpet, which is pretty great. And then Jim Ryan of Sony followed suit right afterwards. And I don't know if you saw this, but as of an hour or two ago, Nintendo also said that everything happening at Activision is deeply troubling to them, which again is nothing, actionable, what they're saying. And there's no way these companies are going to cut Call of Duty out of their profits.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, saying Bobby Kotick sucks. But it is putting Activision in the crosshairs,
It is PR, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they don't agree or that they do agree either way, but Nintendo doing it, I didn't know that happened a couple hours ago. At some point, they had to, right? And I don't mean to sound as nasty as that sounds. You have to, though. You can't say something.
Because if you don't say anything, it sounds like you're agreeing with what is happening.
Right. Well, and Vanguard sales are down, so I mean, maybe this is, if there was a year to annoy Activision, this would be the one.
That's strategically doesn't have the Activision Blizzard logo on it anywhere.
Right, yeah, on the box.
Which I don't know. When I put this together, there was 1,600 employees. It could be more by this point, so this number may not be accurate anymore, that have signed a petition asking for his resignation. That's a lot of signatures. And the reports I read today said that he was considering it, or the rumor was that
he was considering leaving if it didn't improve.
Well, he said he used vague terminology. Was if I can't turn this around quickly, I can entertain the notion of leaving, which is bizarre.
Which also doesn't matter. Of all the people that are going to have a golden parachute of some kind, he's going to have one.
Again, he owns 25% of the company, so if he were to get forced out and they had to buy out his shares, I mean, all you've done is make this billionaire a bigger billionaire.
Right.
It's not really going to hurt Bobby Kotick, but yeah, you can get him out of the company. And he's been there like 30-something years, right? Like, he's the reason Activision is Activision.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why the board is slow to get rid of him, but it seems like the fire under the pyre is starting to grow.
But at the same time, oh yeah, fine guys, I'll go retire early. I mean, look,
yeah, let's retire
with
my
all
island.
my money.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I got a little excited at the possibility though when Sony and Xbox and now apparently Nintendo started saying stuff, because I was like, man, this could get really interesting. Like you said, I can't imagine them, cutting off that vein of Call of Duty. But could you imagine? All it would take is one, and like just this story would blow wide open.
Right. I mean, very much so. That would be exciting.
I mean, is Call of Duty on Switch? It's not, is it?
I think Warzone might be the Battle Royale game.
I think Warzone is, but I don't think any other Call of Duties are. I could be wrong.
I mean, from a business standpoint, and again, being the cynical one in this, those companies are looking at how much business are we going to lose if we keep that game on our platform versus how much are we going to lose if we don't have those games on our platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no way they're gonna.
There's no way to know.
Like,
but
the annual Call of Duty money, there's no way.
Yeah, because if gamers have taught us anything, they're not gonna boycott anything.
Yeah, the memories of a house plant.
Yes, yeah, they got to play their games, dude.
There's nothing more important than my Diablo remake.
I still haven't played it. It's sitting on my.
No, it's like deeply discounted now as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I honestly forgot it even came out.
Well,
it came out of nowhere a little bit, I feel like.
It was kind of during, like, right as this was all bubbling up, so
yeah,
their marketing efforts had to basically be
yeah, pretty much. Anyway, that story is getting more and more interesting by the hour, apparently, and we'll have to stay tuned for more.
I mean, I think Bobby Kotick is an actual human devil, so, I wish him ill fortune.
I'm not surprised. Alyssa, what story interests you here?
I'm interested in Kojima expanding outside of games, which is not a surprise if you've played any of his titles. He has a very cinematic touch. He references movies. It's just really interesting to me that he's branching out into film and music as well.
I am as well, because I would much rather watch Death Stranding as a film than play that game. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like, I was intrigued by that universe and intrigued to see where that story was going, but I'll be damned if I was going to carry a backpack and balance it for miles and miles. I just was not going to do that in that game.
Yeah, there was something very entrancing about it for me, but I take your point.
Yeah. So the idea, if they're going to do something cinematic like that, I'm in. Totally in. TV, same thing. What does music mean? I mean, who does their soundtracks? I don't even know. You would know better than I do, Zach.
I feel like it changes.
Does it?
Yeah, it changes.
Yeah, because I know Harry Gregson Williams did the score for the second Metal Gear Solid, but he did not come back for the next one. So yeah, I think I want to say it changes.
Okay.
And he had one specific band for Death Stranding. I cannot remember their name now, but it was mostly their songs that they played.
Now that you say that, I think I remember in the opening cinematics, when you're first doing your first, like, what do you call it? Not mission. I can't think of the word. Courier mission.
Parcel delivery.
There you go. Like, and they just had like words. Like, it was very like much like watching a film where you're seeing the words pop up on the screen. I remember a musician popping up and being like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I don't think Kojima's dialogue really works outside of video games. It's pretty cheesy. But
well, but is his dialogue cheesy because it's a video game? And would that change? Would he get different writers under a production team for film or television?
Possibly, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you follow the man on Instagram or Twitter, he's always just constantly showing what he's watching or reading or listening to. That's all he shows. Occasionally games he's playing, but
every third tweet is a Blu-ray he bought.
Is it really?
It is. It really is. And I mean, he was talking about that new show on Netflix, Hellbound, just gushing over it.
Oh, the Korean thing, right?
Yeah, from the director of Train to Busan.
Yeah.
totally getting off topic, but just the guy is very into the world of cinema and music, and yeah. But I'm interested. I'm a fan of his, so whatever he does, I'm going to check it out.
I'm a on the fence fan of his. Like, I loved Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, and just some of the crazy ideas. He reminds me of a Peter Molyneux that actually does what he says he's going to do, and he's also secretive about it. If that makes sense. Like, he still surprises us.
What is Molyneux up to?
Oh, dude, I don't know.
Remember, that's a good question.
Wasn't his company called like 22 Cans or something that when he broke off and after he left Lionhead?
Yeah, because weren't they supposed to make 22 games? Isn't that the idea?
And then they just released the Cube game.
Yeah.
And something. Was there another game after that, or was that it?
I don't remember. I just remember Project Milo, and nothing ever happened with that. Remember that?
I do.
That was creepy. That whole thing was creepy.
But hey, that first Fable was a banger.
I like Fable 2.
I know.
Never.
I did
Fable
as well.
3. But yeah, like I like some of the things he does. When he gets super weird, I get turned off a little bit. Like, I tried Metal Gear Solid 4.
Talking about Kojima again, right?
Yes, Kojima. Sorry.
Specify.
I tried Metal Gear Solid 4, and it was like an hour and a half before I got to play anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of cutscenes in that one.
And
worth every second of those cutscenes.
I feel like if I had known that going into that, I'd have been fine with it. But as a kid in my 20s or whatever, sitting down and got through Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 and absolutely adored those games. Don't know what happened with Metal Gear Solid 3. I never finished it, but I was like, all right, 4 is out. Don't give me that look, Zach.
It's such a great game, though.
It's his best work.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't have a clue what Guns of the Patriots was about. I have no idea. I remember sitting watching an egg fry in a pan for several minutes, and I'm like, what's going on? What? And that's what I worry about him. He's going to be like the Aronofsky of he's going to be another Aronofsky. Like, everything is going to be a metaphor, or it's going to be some hidden meaning that, you got to be smarter than the average bear to understand, which normally I like, but when it comes across as pretentious, I get a little turned off sometimes. So I don't know.
But Kojima has like the narrative ambition of an Aronofsky, but has the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
That's a really great way to put it. Yeah.
It is.
It's hard to miss what's going on with Kojima. But I would follow him. Yeah, anywhere. I love. I think pretty much all his games, except the only one I didn't really love was Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that one either.
I tried.
That was very southern. Very southern either.
5 was weird because it was the one where he like actually tried to restrain himself in the storytelling, and therefore it was the weakest one to me.
It's interesting. I wonder if he'll ever do another Metal Gear game.
I think yes.
Like, somehow in some universe that's got to happen again, right?
Or at least like with this repaired relationship with Konami that seems to be happening, at least like shepherding the next generation of Metal Gear Solid storytellers.
Right. Let them do weird things. Let them experiment and surprise us again with the controller trick that they did on the original Metal Gear. Like, do stuff like that.
Yeah, and just reboot it so that you don't hurt the perfect Kojima timeline. I'm cool with that.
I would love like a just fresh, not like just a fresh coat of paint. Like, just tear that game and start it all new.
Yeah, give me Solid Snake on his first mission.
Yes,
I would love that.
No, go back to like Metal Gear.
Well, is that Solid Snake?
I remember that story being super weird. I thought that was the one where you were fighting Big Boss.
You are. And you were Solid Snake.
Okay, because I'm trying to remember that story as super goofy. Like,
well,
Big
if you
Boss
played Metal Gear Solid 5, it all circles back.
Right, that's what I mean. But I think go back to like the original Metal Gear, do the stories of Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge like in one game, and then go back to Metal Gear Solid.
Or just make it all new stuff. I don't care. Just with Snake.
Yeah, I like it. Anyway, Kojima. That's really all we know. We talked about that a lot for not having a lot of information.
Well, he's such this like figure in the industry.
Yeah, he really is.
So like he whispers, and we're all like, "Oh my god, what does it mean?"
It's true. It's true. I'm gonna go back and talk about this Windjammers 2 trailer. Have either of you played Windjammers or know what it is?
Yeah,
I've heard of it. Never played it.
Giant Bomb was obsessed with it for many years.
Oh, really?
back when I was a big listener and supporter of theirs.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I played it for the first time ever when I was in Portland this year, and it's just a 2-player game, but it could definitely be like a King of the Mountain type of situation. Like whoever wins stays kind of thing.
Yeah.
At its core, it's just like, I don't know, it reminds me of Tron, where they did the discs, Deadly Discs.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
But it's just over the top, and it's just super cartoony and feels more like a fighting game almost. But it's more or less Pong, but just super high fat. I cannot speak today. Super fast paced and like power moves and twitch reflexes. It looks really fun. I wanna play more of this, and the fact it's coming to Game Pass is just perfect. Anyway.
Yeah, you were very excited about it. You're tweeting how we didn't get game nights together, all kinds of stuff. You're on board.
I know, dude. I remember we say this all the time though. We were gonna do game nights for Killer Queen Black. We did that twice, and that was super fun, by the way. Maybe we should do that again. What was the other one we were gonna do? We were so excited when it was gonna drop.
Lemnis Gate,
and we've played it exactly twice,
which is more than our going rate.
Well, in my mind, from playing it, it's true. That is a good point. In my mind, I felt more like we could do more players than you can. I wanted it to be like a 4-on-4 type of situation, and you can't do that, right?
No, I think 2v2 is the most you can do.
2v2 is the most, yeah, which we still should try to do.
Yeah.
That would be fun to kind of coordinate, but I still think that game works best when it's 1-on-1, because then you're making your own strategy instead of fighting against your teammate.
Yeah, I think 1-on-1 turn-based mode is the way to play that game.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on, would like to remind everybody that you can help fund the Gaming Outsider if you like the show and want to support us, because we are independently funded, and all the website and the hosting fees and all that is paid for, I say by us, but really it's by you guys, because we have a Patreon where you can contribute monthly and help offset those costs, as well as allow us to give back to the community. And you can help us out at patreon.com/thegocast and find a level that matches your budget and get some kind of reward in place. And this month, we've got some new episodes that you can listen to. We offer some bonus episodes to patrons. At the $3 level, we give them 1 bonus episode. At the $5 level, 2 bonus episodes. We mentioned it last week, but we've got the episode I sat down with CB to talk about fraud in the video game collectors market and my first Pokemon game ever. Spoiler alert, I didn't love it. You can hear why on there. Also, upcoming soon by the end of the month, Zack and I sat down to talk about the legacy of Metroid. We went back. We went through all the games, I believe, didn't we?
Yeah, game by game. I think all the 2D ones.
All the 2D ones, yes. And because you wanted to do one on just the Prime series later, yeah.
Because I've never properly played Prime, so I gotta do that first.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do Max Payne 2, and you're gonna do the Prime series, which I'm a little jealous you get to play that for the first time because it's great. Also, CB and I sat down and talked about some old Indiana Jones games on a Retro Outsider episode, and Zack and I sat down and talked about the Super Mario Brothers movie, which has not aged well, and you're not gonna want to miss that episode. And lastly, CB and Christina and I tomorrow are sitting down. I don't know if I told you this, Zack. Oh, you know about it. Christina has played Star Fox and Star Fox 64 for the first time in her life. So we're going to do a Break the Seal episode on those 2 games.
It's weird that you guys are skipping the best Star Fox game.
Well, we figured we'd save you for that episode.
Okay.
So, since you weren't available for this one, we figured we'd just kind of, break a chunk off for you. But anyway, if those episodes are anything from the past, we've got all kinds of legacy episodes, Retro Outsider episodes, games that aren't for us, and just our random things that we think would be fun to talk about. Head over to patreon.com/thegocast and drop us a couple bucks and help pay for the show. We really do appreciate all the support. With that, let's go ahead and jump into the new games that we've been playing. Boy, Zack, this looks like the smallest list of new games coming up this week I've seen in a long time.
Isn't it exciting?
It's so sad that we get excited about a small list of games.
Well, means you could actually, catch up.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, Game Pass sensation Death's Door comes to PS5, PS4, and Nintendo Switch November 23rd. I think
it's a great little game.
Roguelite, right?
No, not. It's not really. Yeah, I guess it is kind of a roguelike a little bit. You're right, but it's
you say
got
it's on Game Pass?
It is on Game Pass.
I didn't know that.
It's got some Zelda-esque qualities to it. Don't get me wrong, it's not like a Tunic or anything like that, but
I also think it might be leaving Game Pass soon.
Ah, okay.
Oh no.
Better get it quick, Alyssa.
But I could also be wrong. Drizzle Path Deja Vu comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and Switch November 24th. Preposterous-looking little game, A Gummy's Life, which is about what it sounds like. Coming to PS5, PS4, and Switch November 25th. You could get your obscure European sports on with Cricket 22, going to PS5, PS4, Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC November 25th. At my cafe, we have a British gentleman who watches cricket tournaments, and he's been trying to teach me the rules, and I'm pretty sure they just make them up as they play. It is absurd. Dodonpachi Resurrection is a classic treasure or cave, one of those studios. Arcade shooter coming to Switch November 25th. And then Nightlights coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and Switch November 26th. That is a little 2D puzzler platformer. And then Oddworld Soulstorm ends its PlayStation exclusivity by coming to Xbox Series consoles and Xbox One November 29th. I have to assume that we're all just skipping this week.
Yes, but if I had to pick one, and I'm not going to purchase this game, I'll tell you that straight up, be totally direct, I'm not going to buy it. But I want to learn what the hell is going on in cricket so bad because I've tried watching that game. Like I've been to some bars where they play cricket on like those sports channels that we don't get on normal cable here, and I just cannot understand what's going on in that game. I just don't get it. And Europeans look at us like we're morons because we don't understand this game. I don't know.
I'm having an old 60-year-old European Sherpa, maybe not 60. Sorry, Tino, if you're listening. But it cannot be explained. This game is unfathomable.
Like you actually, it's called bowling instead of pitching, isn't it right? Like you bowl the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. And there's like different like angles. I don't.
And you can't spit on the ball or something. Like there's like some rule that you can't spit on it before you roll it because.
And a game can go for like 7 weeks. Why would you spit on it though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, Alyssa, are you picking anything up?
Probably not. No, I'm broke. Like I said, I do want to play Death's Door eventually, but I'll get that later.
Yeah, for me, the most exciting game on the list is probably Oddworld Soulstorm, but I still haven't even played it on PlayStation, so...
and I've never played an Oddworld game for
more
than 10 minutes. Yeah?
I like them. Stranger's Wrath is probably the highlight. It was like a cowboy western.
Yeah.
With a very cool mid-game twist that fundamentally changes the entire way the game is played for the remainder of it.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Well, we've got one new game to talk about this week, and it looks like Zack is the only one that's actually taken the time to download it on Xbox Game Pass, and that is the multiplayer for Halo Infinite. Hey, I was out of town. I was in Vegas for 3-4 days. I have a good excuse.
All right.
And multiplayer scares me. So.
Yeah, and I'm terrible at multiplayer. And I'm not part of the Halo zeitgeist. Any Halo I did was only campaign. Except for the original Halo, I played some just because that's what you did, right? It
was the new hotness.
Yeah, it definitely was. But you're gonna have to talk down to me because I'm not gonna know any difference. But what are you liking about, or are you liking the multiplayer for Halo Infinite? What's changed?
Well, I was also quite cautious jumping into it because I haven't really played Halo multiplayer in many moons. But since this one is free to play, I figured there's gonna be a lot of people that didn't know how to play Halo playing.
And were you right?
Yeah, so I stood a chance. I'm doing actually fairly well.
Nice.
Which does feel good. But it is, it's Halo multiplayer. It's hard to really talk about because it's been, Halo multiplayer has been going on for 20 years.
Yeah.
Now.
Roughly.
But this one, it is, so this is 343, right? It's a new studio. They took over at Halo 4, and they have not shown themselves trustworthy with this franchise at all so far, right? Halo 4 was I think a complete disappointment.
I liked Halo 5.
Narratively, and the multiplayer just felt off. It felt like it was chasing trends. Then Halo 5, they had the huge snafu with the marketing just being a complete lie of what the storyline actually was. and continuing this weird multiplayer direction that I did not enjoy. And then, of course, the Master Chief Collection is one of the worst released products ever.
Hey, they fixed it like 2 years later.
Yes, that's not something I'm as willing to forgive as other people. However, Halo Infinite, awesome.
Really?
I am absolutely loving it. It is really calling to mind the Bungie Halos. You can feel the 6 years that they've put into this game.
Okay.
In a pretty significant way. It does not feel like, I mean, there is sprinting, which is still throwing me off because Halo with sprinting just feels weird to me. Based on the thousands of hours I put into the original Halo games, which did not have it. But sprinting feels good in this one because you just weigh so much, and it alerts everyone to where you are, so you're kind of decentivized from sprinting. I know that's like a very nitpicky thing to start off with. But the gunplay feels great. You're not doing a lot of down the iron sights aiming like you do in other shooters.
Mm-hmm.
It's
more
just like
hip shooting, right?
A lot of hip shooting, a lot of jumping, a lot of there's like different hero abilities. Like you have a grappling hook or you have a dash, so it's a lot of mobility. What I've always loved about Halo is that unlike a lot of shooters like Call of Duty or Battlefield, where it's just whoever sees the other guy first wins because it takes you two shots to drop. It takes, almost a clip or more of ammunition to drop a guy in Halo. So you have a chance to get out of the way and turn tables, throw off a grenade, use a grappling hook to get out of the way and kind of like set up your response. It's just a lot of fun. It makes every firefight feel important and exciting. And that's just something I've always loved, but they've nailed that feel here, which I think they had been slacking in the last 343 games. It's a lot of fun. What I really love, and I know it's probably not going to stick because people are complaining about it left and right, is that the multiplayer lobbies funnel all of the game modes into one thing. It funnels like Slayer, which is just the deathmatch version, team deathmatch, and the objectives like Capture the Flag, Oddball, Domination, all into one hopper, so you never know which game mode you're going to get.
What?
Which I actually love a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's like in Titanfall, I would always pick the hopper where it was just all game modes because I like not knowing what I'm going to get because you have to change your strategy on the fly.
Okay.
If you're in a Slayer, you just get done with a Slayer match, you just got done doing nothing but unloading on guys, and all of a sudden you get the next match and it's a Capture the Flag. You got to rethink your whole strategy, and I think that's really exciting. I assume that this is going to change because people just will not stop complaining about it online. And I'm almost surprised that they launched it with that because it just seems like a divisive feature. You would think you would do like a Slayer hopper and then everything else hopper would make sense.
Gotcha.
But I'm having a lot of fun. Big team battle is the chaotic mess it's always been with these just huge maps and teams of can't remember the exact team count but these big teams, and that's where all the vehicles come into play and stuff, and it's just a lot of fun, and you get a lot of localized skirmishes, and dude, it's just. As a guy who mentioned many times, not a multiplayer guy, I'm getting off of work and I'm kicking back with a few matches of Halo every day.
Wow,
it's just a lot of fun, and I think I don't know. Part of it, the battle pass is terrible. The progression system.
I hear it goes excruciatingly slow.
Yeah, I've had to have put 4 or 5 hours in and leveled up once.
Then I see people on Twitter that are posting pictures. It wasn't that hard, and they're showing that they're at level 100, but apparently you couldn't just buy your way.
Yeah, you can just, I think it's like $20, you just buy a couple levels, which is weird. But if idiots want to spend money, more power to you.
What does it do you any good to be those, you're not getting any kind of advantage, right? It's just...
No, you're just getting cosmetic unlocks, which, as much as I love the look of Spartans in Halo, customizing them can only change the appearance so much. You're still a giant robot suit, dude.
Right, and that doesn't feel like you earned it. I don't know. Isn't that kind of the fun of it? Is actually earning it?
You would think, but I don't mind the terrible battle pass because it makes me ignore it. So therefore, I'm just focusing on the actual fun of the matches.
Oh, okay. Instead of constantly looking for that breadcrumb or
the
carrot on a stick
endorphin rush. Yeah, which I know is just ignore the battle pass is what you would probably say, but it's so hard when it's in most of the multiplayer games, it's just shoving you in your face. Apex Legends is always telling you what you're going to get around the corner, so you're trying to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of nice to just not care because I'm just playing it for the fun of it, which is also probably a good endorsement. Like I'm not progressing really up the levels at all. I'm just playing this game because I think it's a hell of a lot of fun. It helps that I even when I lose, I'm having fun, which has not been the case in Titanfall. Like it's just like those micro little combat encounters you're having with on the battlefield are just a ton of fun, man. It's really great. I'm still not sold on their storytelling capabilities in the universe of Halo, which is really what I care about. Because for some reason, I assume because I was, there with Xbox, I was alive for the birth of the Xbox and Halo. Like I've been along for their dumb universe this whole time, and I really want to see what Cortana's up to and all that stuff.
So does playing this make you hopeful for the campaign when it comes out?
It does, because if they've improved the multiplayer this much, one would hope that they've improved the campaign in equal measure.
Mm-hmm.
That those 6 years were spent wisely. And I mean, you can't make a game more boring than Halo 4, and you certainly can't make a game more badly than Halo 5. So I feel like you only have uphill to go.
Gotcha.
So fingers are crossed. And I think Halo 4 also had a weird problem where they had expected you to read the novels. So the villain shows up and he's like, "Good to see you again, Chief." And you're like, "I don't know who you are because I didn't read the books." And that was super dumb.
Yeah, that's kind of frustrating. Like, I'm here for the games.
It is.
Yes, especially with like Halo 3 ended with him going into cryosleep, and Halo 4 ends with him waking up. Like, oh, I guess he had an adventure along the way that we just didn't see. That would have been nice to know. Seems like
how does that happen? Do you fall asleep again?
I would guess so, right?
Did he have a dream the whole time he was in cryosleep?
I stopped reading the books after Bungie jumped off the franchise, but I did used to read all of the books.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude! Halo: The Fall of Reach is a incredible novel.
Really? Can you start there? That was.
Oh, definitely. That's about the birth of the Spartan program and how Master Chief got recruited, and you learn his name is John there.
Huh.
And there's a great scene where they keep flipping a coin in front of him, and he keeps calling it in the air, and he's right every time, 100 times out of 100, because his reflexes are that fast.
Huh.
It was great.
One last question, and I apologize, Alyssa, if I'm talking over you here. You're part of this too. But
you're fine.
All right. One of the concerns with Halo, and part of the reason they pushed it back, was everybody complained about what it looked like. When they showed it several months ago. How does it look? Are those fears have they subsided? Is there anything to worry about?
Oh man, well, it's a bit of a tricky question because I don't care about that at all. But I think it looks good, and a lot of good story. Like you learn a lot about the environment just by looking at it. Like it's just well made maps, and I mean, yeah, I think it looks just fine. What is perhaps great to hear and was a concern for me going in is that I'm still running the original Xbox One, and this game runs like butter.
What loading times?
I don't know, very very little.
Wow,
just loading a map, just the most of the loading time is just queuing for a match. So like 15 seconds, 20 seconds waiting for a match, and that's about it.
Nice.
I don't know, man. I was surprised at the performance. I thought for sure I was going to be struggling because I'm on the base Xbox One, but that Microsoft money.
Nice, dude. I'm intrigued. I don't know if I'm intrigued enough to jump into the multiplayer. Although I figure I got maybe like a week or two left before everybody is infinitely better than I am, and I don't stand a chance ever again. So I guess if I'm going to jump now would be the time. But
something tells me you're not going to. But yeah,
the pattern is full. Just saying. That sounds like a dare, Harry. I think you're trying to reverse psychology on me.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I just don't think you're man enough for it. That's all.
Look at that. Well, that is Halo Infinite's multiplayer. Again, the campaign is not out yet. That comes out in December, correct?
December 8th.
December 8th.
And then I think co-op and Forge aren't coming until next year.
Which is a bummer, because I would just love to drop right in with co-op in that game.
And there's some kind of weird stuff where they said that this is a season 1, but season 2 content's not starting until May of next year. And I feel like they had to have misspoken, because that's a long season.
Yeah, that's a long wait.
Well,
That would
this
be
is
5.
Halo Infinite. I think this is the last Halo product, right?
Right, but a 5-month season battle path, that's a long time.
You really think people are going to stop playing Halo in 5 months?
No, of course not. I'm just, you got to give them the treadmill's got to get worked out for
Right.
this game.
Gotcha. All right, Halo Infinite. Thank you so much for sharing with us that, Zach. Moving on, before we get to our topic, I want to remind everybody about our social media outlets. First off, we have a spot over on facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. That's where I post all of the episodes, any news articles that I can find, and just any fun, video game related memes and jokes or whatever. It's a great place to hang out. Got one new member over there this week by the name of Kelly Gudry. So welcome to the community. Hope you are enjoying it over there. Also, our Discord server is live and thriving. We've got an awesome community over there that I try to keep the same things posted from the Facebook group as well. Also, if you are in the mood to help us out and help get the word out about the Gaming Outsider, drop us a review on your podcast platform, whether that be Apple Podcasts, whether that be Google Play Music, Stitcher, wherever you listen to. Those ratings do help us get into the ears of other people, and we love to get the word out about what we're doing. Lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. That's where you can find links to all of our episodes and links to all of our written content as well. And as we get towards the end of the year, we got a lot of catch up to do, at least I do. So you can probably see a lot more content coming out in the next month and a half or so. So stay tuned for that. Again, that is thegamingoutsider.com. And one last thing we got to talk about again, just because I am still just enamored with these trimmers from manscaped.com. You guys still using these products on a daily, weekly basis?
Of course, man. Got to keep it tight. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. We're actually going to be getting some more products. We'll be able to talk about them next week. We're getting some. I didn't even know they sold body wash and shampoo and things like that. Did not realize that until I started looking at their website a little bit more closely and getting this information. Looking forward to sharing those products. But in the meantime, the razor is great. It does not. I'm not getting any tugging and pulling like I'm used to getting when I'm shaving.
Yeah.
The nick free is quite a life to live.
Yeah,
it is, because I am prone to nicking myself, and I haven't done it yet. So
a lot of nooks and crannies down there.
Yes, and nicking yourself in that area is particularly painful.
It's not fun,
as we all know. And if you're not familiar, Manscaped is for trimming some areas that are not public to everybody. Not everybody, but maybe that special somebody.
I don't know. I'm open for business.
Thanks, Zach. I'm glad to hear that. Remember that whole trip we want to do together? Let's just forget that.
Why? Huh?
Oh
no, I forgot my pajamas, Scott.
He's just gonna be rocking out with his well-groomed man bits.
Yeah,
all out on the couch. That's gonna be great. But he will have done a nice job with it with his Lawnmower 4.0 shaver.
It'll look clean. And I'll make sure I'll get that toner going for you.
Yeah, that toner that makes it nice and shiny.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm there, I'm going to be like, avert my eyes to what Zack and Scott are doing.
But in all seriousness, these products are amazing, and if you'd like to get a discount on them, we can actually hook you up. We've got a promo code for you. If you head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code TheGoCast, that will get you 20% off your order, and it will get you free shipping worldwide. So even if you're listening to this podcast around the world and you want to try out some Manscaped products at a discounted price, you'll get the free shipping as well. And it does also help the show as well, so we really do appreciate your support. Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
And order now, because they keep threatening that Christmas shipping is going to be a disaster.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Now let's go on and talk about our From the Outside In topic. This week, I thought it'd be fun to share some of our favorite games that have one element that drove us crazy, something that kept those games from being perfect experiences. Let's be honest, it's very difficult to make a perfect game, especially considering not every game is for every person, but some do come very, very close. And we're going to discuss those parts of some games that simply kept them from being perfect or just really bothered us. So before we get into those specifics, I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about this. Is there such thing as a perfect game? I know it's kind of in our sign off here that there's no such thing as a bad game, but is there such thing as a perfect game?
Of course, and it's Batman Arkham City. There's not a wasted minute of that game. It's perfect shine to a sheen. So what are you going to do? I mean, that's the answer, guys. Moving on.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not. Is that your honest answer that Batman Arkham City is a perfect game? I
have long said it is pound for pound the best playing video game that's ever been released. There is not a single wasted minute. So I mean, it's hard to say that there is a definitively perfect game because you are right, it is subjective, and I don't believe in the untouchable 10 out of 10 that a lot of critics seem to think, but I do think if there is one game that has ever gotten as close to perfection as possible, it would be Batman Arkham City.
All right.
And one day I've just got to admit that it's my favorite game. That's all.
I know it wasn't at the top of your list. Are we gonna have to redo your list again?
I mean, it seems possible because every time this query comes up, that is my answer. So you would think.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, although I don't know which one you play more, but you definitely talk about this one almost as much as the other game.
Constantly.
Mm-hmm. Alyssa, what about you? Do you think there's such thing as a perfect game?
I don't think necessarily any game can be perfect because even if the story's great, the gameplay's great, usually there's something in the game, and it's just being nitpicky. Maybe there's a typo somewhere, or there's a little bit of pop-in one instance, or something of that nature that it's kind of like, oh, that's a little more on its perfection. So in that sense, no, but I think trying to even think about a game being perfect in every way is kind of an impossible task in a way.
We just solved it, though.
Oh, Batman Arkham City?
Of course.
I'm kind of with both of you. I mean, not the Batman thing, but because again, I haven't finished it, so I can't. Here's my thing. I don't think there's such thing as a perfect game universally, because, like you said, subjective is there. However, I'm with Zack that I don't have a problem dropping a 10 out of 10 on a game that was perfect for me. I'm
the same way, yeah.
That was exactly what I wanted, and that's why, I don't review games with the intent of looking for a 10 out of 10 game. I review games with the intent of finding a game that is a 10 out of 10 for me. And when I put a 10 out of 10 on my review, I don't expect that to be a 10 out of 10 for everybody else. If it's a perfect experience for me, I hope that you have a perfect experience with it, but I don't expect you to.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be in a genre someone doesn't like, and that's okay.
Yeah. But I also wonder if there would ever be like a 10 out of 10 for a sports game.
I'm sure someone out there has given something a sports game a 10 out of 10.
Who has?
Sure, someone out there.
Probably.
I mean, I think the closest would be that NFL 2K5 that everyone was crazy about, the $20 one that made EA buy football.
Yeah, that on Dreamcast. I think it was on Dreamcast first, wasn't it?
No, well, the series started on Dreamcast, but the $20 one that rocked Madden's world was on PS2 and Xbox and GameCube.
Yeah, I remember that. I can tell you, I can see the cover.
Yeah.
I can see the cover of that one.
Well, it was everywhere. It's $20.
But then you also come to the argument of, does timelessness factor into perfection, or does it have to be perfect in its time? You know what I mean? Like we talk about some of the classics, like Super Mario World would probably be considered to be a perfect platformer to some people,
right? And
it still holds up. You can still go back and have the same experience you did with that game. You may not have the kid eyes that you had on it then, right? But it still plays the same. It's still a joy to play. Whereas some games, you talked about the original Nier a little while ago. You used the words that the combat is trash. You used that phrase on the game that is on the top of your favorite games of all time. You know what I mean? Like, right. It was perfect for you in its time, but it did not. It didn't stay perfect until the reincarnation of it.
That's a mobile game, but yeah.
That's a what?
So you said the reincarnation of it, which is the name of the mobile game. I was just last week. You guys were
didn't even know that.
I know.
Yeah.
I felt it so bad because I knew as soon as I said it, I'm like, It's the wrong game, and Zach's gonna hate me.
You guys are dead to me as of last week.
That's all right. I think we lost Kevin as a listener after how we misfired on the Sonic games as well.
Well, luckily I'm back. Sonic's great, just not Ultimate on Switch.
Right. All right, so let's go to some examples. Do you guys have any examples of games that have a section or a mechanic or some part of the game that you really hated, but you love the rest of the game? Well, let's start
for me, Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game of all time. I pretty much love all of it, besides two aspects.
All right.
The romance scenes are trash. You work so hard to romance a character, and then you just get this 5-second little whatever that scene is. And so it's like, okay.
The scenes are
we're
trash,
dating now.
But you wish they were trashy. You know what I'm saying?
I had a little more spice to it.
Yeah.
And also, just it felt pointless going around to the planets and just trying to mine them to see if there's anything. But you can't use what you mine for anything in the game. It's just you're randomly just pinging these planets trying to find stuff that has no purpose.
Just for an achievement?
Yeah.
I'm assuming?
I don't even remember if I got an achievement for doing that. But I did it anyway because I'm like, OCD, have to do it. But those are my only two things I didn't like about Mass Effect. Well, I didn't care for as much as the other parts of the game. Because I didn't hate them.
Mm-hmm.
Just thought they could have been improved.
Okay. Zach, did you have one?
Oh, man, I guess a couple. I didn't realize it was going to be so short there. There is in Splinter Cell Conviction, there is an Iraq War flashback in the middle of the stealth game, and it's just a cover-based shooter for about 40 minutes.
Right.
And it is it's abysmal, and it's tough every time I replay the game that I gotta get through that Iraq War section. But luckily, I have all the enemy places memorized at this point, so I can get through it pretty quick.
Nice.
But who thought it was a good idea to throw in a cover-based shooting section to a Splinter Cell game? Very bizarre. There's also, at the beginning of Majora's Mask, you play as a Deku shrub, but it just goes on forever, which is fine the first time, though a little bit annoying because you want to play as Link.
That was what annoyed me about that game is like I kept turning into these things and all I wanted to do was be Link. Like I spent so much time in Ocarina getting big, right? It takes forever to get to where you were an adult.
Yes.
And then you start the game as an adult and then they turn you into other crap.
No, in Majora's you start the game, you're 10-year-old Link when you start.
It's been so long, I don't remember. Yeah. But you didn't stay a kid nearly as long as you did in Ocarina. You're
a kid the whole game, Scott.
You are?
Yeah. I mean, you could
it's been a long time.
The Zora mask you wear turns you into like a 20-something-year-old, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're a kid Link, man.
Never mind then.
I didn't mean to set you straight. I didn't want anyone to write in and
you totally should. You week to week just prove that I'm not as big of a Zelda fan as I think I am.
Poser. But yeah, that section goes on forever, especially if you don't know, if you like forgot where to go or something, because it takes forever, man. And then there's an underground bunker section of the first Max Payne that is where you like go to like a deep undercover government facility where like it's just a huge tonal swing and a miss for Max Payne, and it goes on forever, and there's like laser trip mines and stuff. It's not very good. And then shout out to anybody who's played Final Fantasy IX. Anything that involves Quina at all sucks.
What's Quina?
Quina is one of your party members, but they are this weird like monster chef cuisine obsessed character who just wants to eat everything and everyone. And their like reason for following you along is they want to taste all the food in the world, but they always talk in these like weird half sentences, and it's just a miserable character. Whenever they're forced into the main storyline, I want to eat a shotgun.
Is it like, are they like the Jar Jar Binks of this game?
Yes, yeah. think Jar Jar Binks, but somehow more annoying. In fact, you meet the character's like adoptive parent at one point, and it gives you the choice of like, no, like Quina should stay home, and the parent is just like, you have got to take them. I am begging you. So even the parent doesn't like this character.
Oh no.
This character sucks.
That's pretty funny.
I hate Quina so much.
Apparently her parents do too. Is it her?
It's, well, in all the dialogue, they say he, she. So which I feel like probably hasn't aged very well, so I kept trying to say they.
Yeah, I would go with they.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Their parents.
Right.
Don't seem to like them
parents,
very much.
Which is understandable. And I will say Quina gets a decent ending. But every time they have a piece of dialogue, like when everyone else is being dramatic, and they're just like, Zidane, you're as important to me as Yum Yums and the Tum Tums, and I'm like, get out of here.
I pictured Jar Jar Binks saying that. No.
It's awful. Which I realize is not like a mechanic or a section per se, but holy crap.
I feel like every Final Fantasy game that I can think of off the top of my head has like that one weird quirky character. Right?
Yeah, well, I think JRPGs, they always have the mascot character. And they're always
like the Kupo, the Moogle.
Well, those guys are cool. But there's always like that one party member who's just like the wacky eccentric person.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it must play very well in Japan, and I don't think it necessarily plays very well over here.
Well, can I cut in with one of mine off my list really quick?
I'm done now, so it's all you.
Well, because just to go off of what you were just saying, one of the games off my list was Final Fantasy 13, which I really liked that game a lot. I loved especially the music and the paradigm system. Everyone complained about the corridor aspect of that game, and it took like 13 levels or chapters to like finally open up or whatever. That didn't bother me. What bothered me was Vanille's voice.
Oh yeah.
It was like nails on a chalkboard to me, because like it just every time she spoke, it just was so annoying. Like, nobody talks like that, guys. Nobody talks like that.
Which is a shame, because Vanille's story is actually quite heartbreaking.
Right. And then, in like when she's trying to be serious and still has that stupid sing-songy voice, it's like, shut up.
And do you remember when she would summon her Eidolons and did the final attack? She would moan in Euphoria. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Oh,
there was no
no.
misinterpreting what they were trying to imply there. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the fact that you like outdumb a character that keeps birds in his hair, like
that little chocobo's cute as hell.
I just thought that was so dumb.
I'm happy you like Final Fantasy 13. I think that game rocks.
I love Final Fantasy 13. That was one of the games, I think I played that one on Xbox, and I regretted it because I saw it on my brother-in-law's PlayStation 3, and it looked so much better on PlayStation 3, and I was almost bad. I was almost bad.
That was insane. When I finally saw those side by side, shout out to the GameStop manager at McChesney Park, because I had a pre-order on 360, and when I go to pick up my copy, he begged me to buy the PS3 copy.
Yeah.
And he said, if you regret it, I will buy your Final Fantasy 13 for you. Because I just didn't care about trophies. I cared about achievements. I was such an achievement guy at the time.
Right.
And I was also a regular there probably 4 days a week. So
did you come back and thank him later?
I sure did.
Nice.
Can't remember his name. I feel bad.
Oh.
But, dude, shout out to that guy. He really saved my life.
He's been listening to this show for like 4 years now, just waiting for the moment for him to be like named on here. And someday Zach's going to remember that time. And you just like crushed his dreams.
Hey, I paid him back because one time he left the Game Boy Advance, because you know how they used to have like the locker of GBA games?
Uh-huh.
He left it unlocked, and I alerted him to it, and there had already been like $400 worth of games stolen out of it.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, I can only imagine how much more I saved him during that day.
Right. Well, good for you, man.
I'm just saying, we're even now, GameStop guy.
It's funny you mentioned Majora's Mask, because I was going to put Ocarina on my list as well. I know, very crazy, but this is part of the reason that Link to the Past will always be on top of Ocarina for me, and that is because that section at the beginning when you're a kid and you have to like go to the Goron area, I can't tell you why. I don't like that area. It drags for me. I
almost put that on my list as well.
Did you really?
Well, specifically the kid version of the section, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the kid later on, it's fun. It's better. Like
even like as soon as I have to start going up Death Mountain, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, it just sucks.
Like the first time, because then you have to like you're so ill-equipped early on in that game. Like all you have is like a slingshot, and like you don't get the boomerang until you go to Jabu's belly.
Right, and then you have the wooden shield that burns away. So like that sucks.
Yep. And even if you get the metal shield, it's too big for you to actually like carry in front of you, so you have to like just hide under it like a turtle. And I don't know. At this point, like the game started great when you do the Deku tree and you're kind of learning the mechanics, and it was just you felt like you were on a mini adventure before a grand adventure when you go out to Hyrule Field, you know. Right. And then you do some other just stuff around town, but then I don't know. There's just something about going up Death Mountain, which should be exciting because it's called Death Mountain.
Yeah.
That just really, I don't know, dragged for me. And all I wanted to do was turn into adult Link. You know what I mean? I just couldn't wait because I knew you knew it was going to happen. You were going to stay.
Well, something it was on the box art, right? The back of the box.
Right. So you knew it was going to happen. That's all. And then once you became adult Link, it was just like, all right, now we're trucking. But I felt like that Goron section just really, for a game that's like near the top of my list of favorite games of all time, it had that section that just really, really dragged for me.
Yeah, and then and Dodongo's Cavern, I think, is just the weakest dungeon as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it is cool because like it's inside of a fossilized dinosaur body, basically. Like that's cool. It should be cool, but it sucks.
Right,
dude. I just now had the revelation that all of the kid dungeons take place inside of giant creatures.
Jabu,
Deku Tree, fossilized remains of Dodongo, and the Jabu's belly.
Are those the only ones? Because you come back to the Forest Temple as an adult, right?
Right, but that's not inside the Deku Tree.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I was going to say that one wasn't inside a creature, but...
Yeah, all the ones as a kid you are, though.
That's a really good... Wow, that's interesting.
I never thought about that until this
Shout out to Jabu's belly, by the way, because carrying around Princess Rudo.
Yeah.
You just wanted to slap her.
Well, you can toss her.
You can, but but you got to carry her around, and then if you can't attack while you're carrying her, I just did not like that.
Hey, you know what? You'd be nice to Princess Rudo because after that time skip, she gained some assets.
In pure 64-bit glory.
Yeah.
I remember being weirded out, by the way, by the Great Fairy in that game. Seemed very thirsty.
Especially, this is now a tangent, but did you ever fully upgrade your equipment in Breath of the Wild? Like by finding all of the 4 Great Fairies?
No, not in Breath of the Wild.
She kisses you for the first couple upgrades, and then by the end, when you have all 4 Great Fairies, when you upgrade your equipment, she grabs Link, takes him into like the pond world of hers, and then like a few seconds pass, and he just comes back all beet red and woozy looking.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh.
There is
Link just became a man.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Good for him.
Like, what else are you supposed to think happened?
No, that is the implication. Oh, that game is also just kind of weirdly horny in general.
Yeah.
But that is especially, I was like, what? What? They just did that?
Like Nintendo did that.
Yeah. Zelda did that.
Crazy. Speaking of horniness in games, did you see the thing that like somebody found in Animal Crossing?
No.
No.
I gotta find. I saw it on TikTok of all places. Like this woman is playing it, and she sees in the background there's like all these shapes of animals, and it looks like one of the animals is performing on another animal.
Oh.
But they're all like shadows, so it was clearly like not intentional. Like they would just happen to be 2 shadows that were going back and forth or whatever, like doing. But this one is just like right in the right position.
No.
And like the TikTok is super annoying because the woman is laughing in a very annoying, cringeworthy way. But
very TikToker way.
Yeah. Anyway, I had one other one, and that is the original Mega Man. Love the original Mega Man, and it doesn't bother me as much now as I got older. But as a kid, I loved Mega Man, but I hated the Gutsman level with the platforms that. Did you ever play the original Mega Man?
Yeah, but not in a long time.
So there is a part in the Gutsman level where these platforms that you have to ride along, and when they get to a certain point, they just randomly drop. And sometimes they drop for like a complete split second. And I just, generally speaking, hate games that don't normally have a one-hit kill type of mechanic or a bottomless pit mechanic that just takes a life. You know, like if you mess up, you could just do it again and have some life gone or whatever.
Yeah.
But it took so long, and if you didn't have a game genie, and if you didn't have any whatever, I would waste all my lives on that level, and I just hated it. Now I could probably do the timing in my sleep because I'm older and my reflexes are a little bit better. Although they're starting to wane a little bit now, but as a kid, I just absolutely hated that. I would avoid that level and try not to do that level until I'd save it for last, just because I hated it so much. And that was before there was Rush, so there was no way to like get a Rush upgrade and like a zoom across it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was one on my list. That was what we thought, though. We had some listeners write in with some comments as well. Let's start over on Facebook. David Waller writes in and says, the final boss in Metroid, and to boot, I never beat Tyson, because I had used Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for this game, which we should talk about that one, too. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, pretty close to a perfect game. That last boss, I swear, unless you are a god amongst men, is impossible. I never beat Tyson.
I don't have a lot of familiarity with Punch-Out.
Oh, so good.
Me neither.
Anyway, he says the final boss in Metroid. I don't remember that being that bad.
No, but I'm not gonna come down on David here.
No. I'm just saying go play the final boss in Metroid Dread, David, and tell me which is harder, that or the original Mother Brain. I think it was annoying because there was no way to not get hit. You know how like most boss battles, there's a way to get through it with a perfect run, but there was no way to do it because you had the glass case holding Mother Brain, you had the Zebatites or whatever the things that you shot out, and then there are these like orange rings of fire that just come in randomly, and then like a machine gun that just comes in. All that's going on all at the same time, and it's impossible to dodge, and you have to get the timing right. And just when you get up to the ledge, it was a game where if you got hit, it also like jumped you back when you got hit.
Yeah.
And then it would make you fall in the lava underneath, and you had to climb out. So I could, yeah.
That is very of the era.
Yes, I still think the Kraid fight was more annoying than the Mother Brain fight, but those bosses were not great. I mean, that's all we had at the time, right? But
yeah.
Zach, why don't you read the next one?
Sure. Andrew Zack
Mm-hmm.
Said, I'd really like to beat the boss fight on Quantum Break. I've tried so many times. I want to play through it again, but every time I try to beat it, the first time I wind up uninstalling it and moving on to something else.
I agree.
Boss fight?
It was where you were fighting Aiden Gillen's character.
Oh, at the very end of the game?
Very end, yeah.
Oh.
Because it was a boss that was in 2 stages, and the first stage was not that hard. But then he like activates the machine. I don't remember what's going on in the story. It's been a long time since I played that game.
Well, yeah, it's a wacky story.
It is a wacky story, but there was like a one-hit kill situation that if you died, you had to start the first part of the boss fight all over again and do that. And it was just infuriating to make it through that section and then die within like 5 seconds of the second phase of the boss fight. It was really stupid.
Doesn't sound great.
But
I mean,
man,
I know I beat it, but I don't remember having
that
much difficulty with it.
Man, I feel like that game got a bad rap for some reason. I really liked it.
It did. I liked it too.
It came out at a time where disliking Xbox games was popular.
Oh, is that what it was?
I feel like that played
Oh yeah,
because
it was exclusive.
Yeah, and it had the TV integration, which I think brought to mind the terrible Xbox announcements. So
where they were trying to say that it was all about watching TV and this is going to be your TV machine?
Right, we see Xbox all in one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think it was just a product of that. It's all Don Matrix's fault.
There you go. Alyssa.
Okay, if either of you guys can help me with this picture, that'd be great. But Scott Calgaro?
Yes.
Said, this damn thing. I mastered all of Dragon's Lair as a kid when it first hit arcades, and this was, by far, the hardest room to get through. And there is a picture of the room, but I've never played Dragon's Lair, so you guys know what it is.
I I played Dragon's Lair, but I only played it on Xbox when they have the cheat mode built into it with the flashes. If you play that game on arcade, they don't give it the flashes. You just have to trial and error which direction and hope you guess correctly, and then you had to memorize.
That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it was a quarter. It was like the epitome of quarter munching machines.
That's
But,
ice cold, man.
Oh, yeah. So, like, you had to, like, memorize every time you played it, start from the beginning and see how far you could get on your memorization.
Just like Simon Says.
Kind of,
Or like Simon, the 4...
Oh, yeah, the
button.
little red, blue, green, and yellow buttons, yeah. So
that game.
I don't remember this room that he's talking about, but it looks like a Black Knight in the distance with
some checkerboard tiling on the floor.
Yeah, and it looks
columns.
like some of it are lit up and some are not.
It's
I do not
radio,
remember.
Great radio.
Yeah. But Scott Calgaro knows what we're talking about. And man, that dude does love Dragon's Lair. Every time we go to an arcade, he just like goes immediately for Dragon's Lair or Dragon's Lair 2. He just loves those games. So he was definitely a product of the 80s. I think it was 80s, 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
I think 80s, right?
Yeah.
This is Don Bluth? Or am I making that up? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He also did Space Ace, which was also on the collection I played on Xbox.
Well, that was just Dragon's Lair in space, right?
Basically, yes. I'm a different character.
Did they do a proper Dragon's Lair game, Dragon's Lair 3D? Like it was an actual game where you controlled the character?
I don't know. If they did, I did not play it.
Okay.
But I do know there's a Dragon's Lair that exists on NES. And I know this because I have a copy of it, and I've never played it.
I could have swore there was like a Dragon's Lair where you actually play as the character on original Xbox, but I could be having a fever dream as well. That's distinctly possible.
That's also a weird game. I don't know if you've ever played through them. Even if you like have the cheats and you just play through just to experience the story, it's freaking weird.
No, the only thing I really know about Dragon's Lair is the overly sexualized female character.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like I should let you read this one, but I'm going to read it. Josh Steima says, the mission in Max Payne 2, where Vinny is in the Captain Baseball Bat Boy mascot outfit.
Captain Baseball Bat Boy.
With a bomb in it, and you have to escort him to safety. On the highest difficulty, this is brutal because this SOB has the self-preservation techniques of a squirrel running across the highway. One of my 5 favorite games ever, but this is cringe-inducing. Can you speak to that, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, imagine your worst fears of an escort mission. Because he's in a basically, like a mascot outfit, right? Like a football mascot character. So he's a huge target, and you're just getting swarmed by mobsters. And he's got his own separate health bar that you can't heal him of.
You can't hide behind anything.
So it's just, it sucks. And every time you fail, it like gives you a cutscene of him exploding and like his shoe landing on the pavement. So you just they just rub it in every time you fail as well. Dude, it does suck. Absolutely. There's no question. But luckily, Max Payne has that little adjustable difficulty where the more you die, the easier it gets. So you can get through it. It's just, for a game that is otherwise rather impeccable, it's pretty frustrating.
Good call then, Josh. Thanks so much for writing that one in.
And it especially sucks, and Josh knows this, because Vinny Gognitti, it sucks. You want him to die, but you have to protect him because you need his info.
Yeah.
So it's just, you're like rooting for him to die anyway.
So it's hard to protect him.
Yeah, it's hard to have the impetus to protect him. And then Sean Coates writes in, oh man, I can think of several examples of this. First, the parking garage level in the original Driver. You have about a minute or less to pull off a list of maneuvers, which is easier said than done. Oh yeah, and it's the first level. You literally can't play the game without beating it.
That's a great call.
It is. That's the best call because it is the tutorial of the game and it is the hardest part of the game.
It is so hard. Like you have to like do donuts around like pylons or whatever, or like the what do you call the things that
you have to
holding
like
up
do like slalom or slots around the parking garage structure. You have to do 360 donut. I remember you had to do like a reverse into a 180 and then shift into drive,
right?
All in one seamless motion, and you had to do it all in I think that 60-second stopwatch segment.
And if you didn't do it, you could not progress the game.
Right, and it's frustrating, and especially frustrating because I feel like the 180-degree handbrake time was no joke. Like if you hit the gas at 179 degrees, it would count it as a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just, dude. It was good call.
And how often
Sean.
did you use that in the game?
0 times.
Yeah.
And even if you did have to use it, it wouldn't have mattered if you were 3 degrees off.
Right.
You could just turn.
readjust.
Yeah. So ridiculous. Second example is the mission Supply Lines from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. In this mission, you're piloting in an RC airplane, and you have to take out 5 moving ground targets. The RC plane is fragile and can't take much damage, and it's really hard lining up the shots. The controls are slippery, and the cherry on top is you have limited fuel. The Definitive Edition, unfortunately, doesn't really address this. I've replayed San Andreas a lot, but I've only beaten this mission once in the 17 years since I've played it. What makes it especially difficult is if you remember the Grand Theft Auto games back in those days, there were no mid-mission checkpoints.
Oh.
So if you got to the 4th or 5th car and then died, you had to not only did you have to restart, but the game sent you to the hospital, and then you had to go back to the mission taker, get through the cutscene again, then start again. Yeah. It was brutal. And he is right, the controls for the RC cars were so poor that they should not have designed a mission around it. And I'm pretty sure you do this mission for David Cross's character, which is fine because David Cross is generally a funny guy, but listening to him do the same lines over and over again for hours is
listen to
brutal.
anybody say the same lines over and over.
It's rough.
You're making me really want to play that game, dude.
San Andreas has a really great first island.
And that's it?
And it's pretty good last 2 hours. I would just say do the gangster stuff, and then once it changes tone, stop playing it.
You mentioned this last time, but how does it get weird again?
I mean, you eventually infiltrate Area 51 in that game.
That's so weird.
But it starts off as a grounded gangster game.
I would not have expected that from a Grand Theft Auto.
No.
Like, imagine Grand Theft Auto 5 doing that.
Yes, I mean, it would be mocked, right? In the modern era.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to and then you have to escape from Area 51 with a jetpack.
That sounds like a Saints Row game.
It does.
It is a little Saints Row-y. And then there's a whole 5-hour section of that game where you're just a casino owner.
What?
That game is bizarre.
Like simulation? Like you have to manage a casino?
No, but you have missions where it's hey, this guy's cheating. Run him down and beat the crap out of him. And you're like, what happened to the game I was playing? Why is this a different game now?
Yeah, you're not selling me on GTA, man.
Just play the first island, man.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
All right.
And then watch the ending.
Then watch the ending, okay. All right, Alyssa, you were up.
Okay, again, if I say this name wrong, I'm so sorry. Justin Nalta?
That's what I would have said.
Says, I have 2. Viridian Forest and the original Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow. I like to grind and raise some levels, but the poison drove me crazy. I would fly through it in the remakes, which I agree, that level was insane in the original games, from my point of view. The other is Gwent in The Witcher 3. I absolutely love the game and the mechanic, but I was awful at it. Never could figure it out. And again, Justin, I am in the same boat as you. So I wholeheartedly agree with your whole entire statement.
I'm glad somebody else said it because I don't understand Gwent to save my life. And
I never understood. It was so complicated.
And they made a whole other game just centered on Gwent. People liked it so much, and
But Gwent was entirely optional, right?
Yeah, I barely played it. Yeah.
Unlike Final Fantasy IX's card game was mandatory at a certain point.
Mm-hmm. Was Triple Triads mandatory for a while too in Final Fantasy VIII, I think?
Was it?
I mean, you had to at least do the tutorial where they teach you how to play it.
Yeah. Final Fantasy IX, you have to you have to enter a card tournament for information.
Oh, wow.
Which I was cool with. It's just, it's a pretty rookie move to make your side minigame part of the main quest.
Right.
I just remembered The Witcher 3. You could be talking to someone about something serious, and one of the dialogue options would be, want to play some Gwent?
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't find your son. I only found his hand severed at the bottom of a well. Care for a round?
You could actually have that in that order, in that timing and cadence and everything. It was exactly what you could do in that game. Speaking of Witcher 3, Rob Matthew wrote in and said, the baby in The Witcher 3, I gave up on the game for a while because of that damn thing.
Talking about the botchling.
It's funny you say that because that was my favorite part of the game.
I know, that storyline
That story was so good.
I thought he was referencing the specific thing where you bury the body or whatever,
Mhm.
or like you dig it up,
That was so sad.
and then you're like, but you have to like fight off like waves of demons for a while the Baron's doing some kind of ritual, right? Like
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
That's what I assumed he was talking about because I also wanted to throw my controller at the screen.
Oh, just because of the difficulty of it, or like how it was not fun?
Yeah, it was just not fun, and especially you're so wrapped up into that storyline that you're like, let's go, come on. I don't want to.
Okay, I can see. Yeah, I can
I
see
can
that.
see that too. And I haven't played Witcher 3 in so long. I remember I wouldn't even begin to remember how to play it, like at all. But man, that whole ending. I don't know if you got the same ending I did, because apparently that mission could turn out like 2 or 3 different ways. Like mine was super eerie, like you, and it wasn't like actually explicitly told to you. The Baron kind of takes care of things himself. I'm trying to be vague. I don't even know if I need to with the game this old.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really remember.
But you just come back to the castle, and without anybody explaining anything to you, he has hung himself from a tree right outside his castle.
Yeah, I did not get that ending.
There was no text.
I didn't get that one
There
either.
was no dialogue, no nothing. He just felt so bad about everything, just decided to take care of you. Just come back, and he's just hanging from a tree, like in the distance. You just see him. That just was like super eerie feeling for me.
I found his daughter or his ex-wife or something, and she beat the crap out of him.
Yeah?
Yeah, something like that.
That might have been part of it. But
I want to say it was an estranged daughter. Anyway, Dallas Riles writes in, Battletoads, the level you swing down, LOL. I don't really have a lot of familiarity with Battletoads, I'm sorry.
I don't either.
Okay, so Battletoads started out as a beat-em-up game, where you play these anthropomorphized toads that you fight
the Ninja
bad
Turtles.
guys. Yeah, I think it was an answer to Ninja Turtles. And the first level's awesome. You beat up guys. You beat up these giant robots that when they fall apart, they break in. These sticks fall off. Their legs become weapons, and you can beat the crap out of them. You eat flies to regain your energy, and at the end, you fight this giant robot, which is a really cool boss battle for the NES era. Think of this being an 8-bit. Like the boss battle is from the boss's perspective. So you are like seeing yourself from the eyes of the boss in this giant mech, and he shoots things he shoots at you, and you are controlling the toad, and you dodge out of the way of this shot, and it hits the wall behind you and leaves a rock, and then you pick up the rock and throw it at the camera to damage this mech that is shooting at you, which is really cool, right? Awesome level. The very next level, you and your buddy are now like rappelling down a giant shaft to make your way to the bottom and fighting all sorts of weird creatures on the way. But there are these like crow things that can just basically snap the line that you're on that are almost impossible. Like if you miss it by just a little bit, it's impossible to get back up and hit them again before they just cut your line. So, and it's again, instant death. It's really frustrating. But what's funny to me is that that's where he gave up, because if you didn't get past that, Dallas, you're really going to struggle with the hover bikes section, which was right after that, which was infuriating as a kid. That was so tough. And you guys have never played Battletoads?
I haven't.
So imagine from left to right, you're riding in a hover bike, and it starts out simple enough. You've got like walls that you have to like dodge. If they're up, then you have to go down. If they're down, then you have to go up. And then there's ramps, and you have to hit the ramps just right. And then there are some hurdles that you have to jump over. And it starts out easy enough because what they do is they like flash whatever's coming ahead of you before it actually comes. So it becomes like a very quick like flash, 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 here it comes. Flash, 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 here it comes. Which is fine until the level starts speeding up. And then instead of it just being like, okay, I'm going down now, and I'm going up, now it's like you have to actually weave. You have to weave in a certain pattern, but it's impossible to see because both are basically flashing at the same time. So it just looks like this wall of flashing that you don't know which one is up and which one is down anymore, if that makes sense. It was absolutely frustrating. Actually, that game just gets dumb after the first level. The first level is awesome, and then everything after that is like the hardest game you've ever played. It's really frustrating because it was cool when you were a kid. It was a really cool idea, like Wish.com Ninja Turtles.
Right.
But it was cool. So, yeah, good call, Dallas. All right, who's up?
Mark Willis says every Valkyrie in God of War hard mode.
I never even got to a Valkyrie. I beat the game. You don't have to beat the Valkyries. Weren't they optional?
Yeah, they were optional.
Yeah.
They were
That was
fun.
like
They were fun little combat encounters, though.
Yeah. I heard everybody complain about how difficult they were. Did you play it on hard mode?
I did not.
I don't really remember.
I always play on normal. So
I did. I played on normal.
what makes them so hard? I never got to them. Why were they so tricky?
I mean, they're just the hardest challenge of the game. I don't know, because like the whole game is very Dark Souls-ish, in terms of its combat structure, but this is like where it actually doubles down and tries to be like a Souls game in its combat, and it's just these super hard bosses. I mean, they're not like end of the world difficult until you get to the Valkyrie Queen, and that I just think she's just cheap.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, moving on to Mark Szymanski. He says, this is over on Discord, by the way. He says, the final challenge for the original Driver PlayStation. Holy crap, those cars were relentless. I was so relieved when it was over. Great game. I love how the hardest parts of Driver are the beginning when you do the tutorial, and apparently the final challenge in the game, which, I never made it past the parking garage, so. My brother did, though. My brother, who is not a hardcore gamer like I is, but he was a car guy, and he liked car games. He and my dad used to play Driver all the time, and I never did.
Jericho's still at large in your world, Scott. Gotta go track him down.
I don't even know what that means.
He's the bad guy.
I assumed. Mark goes on to say, bonus one, although I can't find a reference to it, Snatcher for the Sega CD had a level where you had to push 2 buttons or something like that really fast using the snail cursor or else you'd get electrocuted. Great game. That one challenge was awful. I have not played Snatcher on the Sega CD.
I haven't either.
But
wasn't that a Kojima game?
It is.
Or am I thinking of... Okay.
Definitely a little Koji Pro.
Yeah. And we got one more, Zach.
Oh, just filthy at Just Filthy Gaming over on Twitter said, honestly, Final Fantasy VII, second favorite game of all time, but the well flashback scene when you meet Tifa, it goes by so slow. It is frustrating when you're replaying a favorite game and you get to like that one slightly slow section where you're like, I know I don't dislike it, I just don't want to do this right now.
It's like talking about where they're sitting on the water tower.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like, "Well, where's what well?"
I was thinking of
tower.
I was thinking in the mansion section for some reason, but yeah, I think that's what I assume that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, definitely when they were kids and stuff.
Yeah. Because the dialogue goes by excruciatingly slow.
But it is it's a beautiful and well-paced scene.
Oh yeah, the first time you play it.
Right.
It's
just like the Miles and MJ stealth sections of Spider-Man, I think are really great and an awesome change of pace the first time you play it.
Mm-hmm.
When you just want to replay it and be Spider-Man, it's a little rougher.
I understand. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for all those comments. That wound up being a fun topic. I feel like if I racked my brain, I would come up with several more. Those were just the ones that I felt were most prominent to me. But stay tuned for next week. We do not have a topic picked out yet, but I'll get that posted on social media later this week. It is Thanksgiving week, so I hope everybody has, if you are celebrating, have a good and safe Thanksgiving. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, do you have any parting words or recommendations for everybody before we get out of here?
Yeah, give the live-action Cowboy Bebop a shot. It is perfectly fine. The internet is trashing it left and right. Cowboy Bebop is my favorite anime. It is very near and dear to me. I know that is not that's not a unique opinion at all. It is seemingly one of the most popular animes ever. But I do love it to death, and I think the live action one, if you can get past the first scene, which I think is pretty darn miserable, it starts to come together. And I'm only on episode 4 or 5 now. And there are definitely some things I don't like about it. Like I am really not sold on this new version of Faye. But I think it is a lot of fun. And John Cho as Spike is absolutely incredible, which is good because when they cast him, I was like, A, he's definitely too old, and B, I don't know if I've ever seen him have cool guy swagger and anything, but while it is definitely like jarring to see Spike look obviously into his late 40s, because I never assumed the character was that old in the anime.
Oh, he's only 27 in the anime.
Great. Wow. Yeah, John Cho's 49 for reference.
He's
playing
49?
Yeah, playing a character who was 27.
49?
Yeah. John Cho's old, man.
Harold and Kumar guy?
Harold and Kumar guy, yes.
That's like my most...
Personally, I don't think he looks that old.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't look 49, but he's obviously in his 40s. That's all. And then, but he's doing it, and he's effortlessly cool. And there's like, he's doing stuff like he's hanging from his life from a building or whatever, and he just lights up a cigarette. He's like, whatever happens, happens, which is very Spike Spiegel.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then Mustafar Shakir, who is playing, or Mustafa Shakir,
Jet Black,
playing Jet Black. He is perfect. Perfect.
Oh yeah, he's so good. I'm only 2 episodes in.
He's great. And then his and Spike's relationship is so much fun to watch. It's got like a very Firefly energy to it.
It does. Every time I watch the anime, I'm like, this just feels like Firefly before Firefly happened.
Yes.
Which is, I'm sure it probably influenced Firefly.
There's no way. There's no way it didn't.
So
it's one of my favorite anime too.
So let me ask you guys, should I just, because I haven't seen the anime, but I own it on iTunes, should I go watch the anime or should I just watch the series first?
Just watch the series.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
What? If I tell you to watch the anime, you're never going to watch it at all.
What are you talking about? I own it.
I feel like I know you, Scott.
Come on.
I mean, if you have the gumption, absolutely watch the anime.
I did start watching Sex Education on your recommendation.
Do you like it?
Just yes. The one actress, I looked it up. It's not her. I can't remember her name, but she looks a lot like Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
That's what everyone says, and I've never watched this show.
I seriously thought it was her, but I'm like, she looks too young to be Margot Robbie, but she looks so much like her. Yeah,
she's great. But anyway, give Cowboy Bebop a shot. If you're a fan of the anime, I don't know how to feel about New Faye. She, her character, who's like a bit of a femme fatale, sort of, although she was, occasionally, whiny or whatever, or demanding. This new version of her sounds like a 12-year-old future dude bro who's learning to cuss for the first time, and I'm not into it.
Oh.
And I'm hoping it grows on me, but she is rough at first, which sucks because Faye is a legendary character.
Nice. Alyssa, how about you?
Okay, so I just watched this anime. It blew me away, and I'm not going to say too much about it because I think you should go in pretty much not knowing anything, because that's how I went in and loved it. It's called Death Parade, and it's animated by the same animation studio that animated Death Note, which is important because this series has an Easter egg in it for Death Note fans.
Oh.
But just to give a simple premise, this couple ends up in this super fancy bar called Quindecum, and they have no idea how they got there. They have no memories prior to entering the bar, and the guy that's the bartender, his name is Decum, and he gives them a button. They have to push the button, and it pulls up a random game they have to play, and they get darts, but what they don't know is that their dartboards, wherever their dart lands, it corresponds to one of their body parts. So one of them throws a dart, it hits the dartboard, it might cause the other one to have stomach pains or them to have a heart attack or something.
It's a voodoo doll.
Kind of, yeah. And the game draws out this couple's good aspects, bad aspects, things that have happened to them, and so on and so forth. And I don't want to say anything else because that's what sets off the entire series. But I did not expect this to be what it was, and I didn't expect it to emotionally impact me the way it did. And it's just so beautifully animated. Again, if you like Death Note, that little Easter egg was the cherry on top. But this is such a well-written series, only 12 episodes long. It is on Funimation dubbed, but if you want to watch it on Hulu, it's only subbed for some reason.
I assume that way Funimation can pull in subscribers.
It's it's not super old, but it's from 2015, I believe, so it's not a new anime.
So is the Death Note Easter egg like blindly obvious? Like
if you've watched Death Note, yeah, you'll get it.
It's not like super subtle, like
hanging out in the bar.
It's just like it doesn't last very long, but as soon as you see it, you know it.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I kind of want to rewatch Death Note too. I just love that show so much.
I'm rereading it. It's very
good. Yeah.
Are you? I should do that. I should just read one of these times. But anyway, I got a random recommendation, and mine's actually still video game related. I was looking for something to watch on the plane ride home from Vegas this weekend, and I was looking through my iTunes library, and I still had a copy of Video Games the Movie, which is a documentary from 2014 that I loved, and I wanted to go back and watch it just to kind of see it again. I hadn't seen it in years. I actually got to interview the director back in my Hollywood Outsider days, and loved it back in the day. I recommend going back and rewatching it now. I don't know if either of you have seen it, but it's really interesting watching all these interviews with familiar faces that we know, like Randy Pitchford. You know, I feel like we have a little bit different attitude about him now than we did back when this movie was made in 2014. So I don't know. Cliff Bleszinski just seems like a different person than I know him from on Twitter now. I don't know. He just. It's interesting going back and seeing all these people that I feel like I know a little bit better because I've been doing a podcast since then, right? I've been doing this show for 6 years. So I feel like I recognize those faces a little bit better, and I have a different mindset about them. And it's also interesting because when this was made in 2014, the games that were cutting edge are not cutting edge now for obvious reasons. And it's kind of interesting seeing like how they thought the future of games, what the future of games was going to be versus what the future of games is now. Is just kind of a fun little experiment. So if you're looking for something video game related to watch in a documentary form, go check it out. I think it's a well-made documentary anyway. And Jeremy Sneed is obviously very passionate about it, but it's fun to see some familiar faces and compare them to how you feel about them now. And it's also fun to just kind of see what they considered cutting edge and see how it compares by today's standards. So that's my recommendation for the week. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. The Gaming Outsider is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal and Hextech Mayhem, which you can purchase now on Switch and PC for $9.99. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zack Parkerson and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.